Hi everyone, and welcome to Infinite Nerdatory with your hosts Stella Fagella
and Sonderman. The last weekend in May, we visited the city of Detroit in the near future. In this world, androids live among us as servants and have no choice but to take orders.
The place is a mess. You do the housework, the washing, you cook the meals, and you take care of... God damn it, where the fuck's the brat gone now? Oh, there you are. That's Alice. You look after her. Homework, bath, all that crap.
We were blown away by this game and would like to take you on a journey with us as we discuss and review Detroit Become Human.
Hit it!
Infinite Nerdatory!
Detroit Become Human is made by David Cage, the maker of Fahrenheit from 2005, Heavy Rain from 2010, and Beyond Two Souls from 2013. We thoroughly enjoyed Fahrenheit when it was released, as it was to a certain degree based on your choices. However, Heavy Rain took this to a completely new level, with multiple endings and the new feature of your characters dying permanently, which Detroit has also taken advantage of.
Detroit is an adventure game centered around 3 androids living in a near-future world where their only purpose is to serve humans. The game is beautiful to look at. Sometimes it feels like you're actually watching a movie because it's so realistic. And the music fits perfectly to every situation, switching between being epic as hell or calm and beautiful. Although the President of the United States is almost to the brink of being awful, and her accent is off,
in the coming hours, I will address the Senate to determine our response to this unprecedented situation.
the other actors and the acting in general are spot on. They emote the feelings they're trying to convey, and it never feels out of place. Unlike Heavy Rain, the choices made by characters in Detroit affect the game immediately, and are not all focused towards the end. However, the game is played in a similar way to Heavy Rain, which gets us to our first point, the gameplay. We found that the gameplay could be static at times, as only specific objects and people are interactable, although you still have to be aware of your surroundings, as important clues could be hidden. This is important to note, as these clues can be vital later in the story. If you don't find these different clues, certain dialogue options with characters will not be unlocked.
The beginning of the game may seem a little bit slow to some people, because you are given mundane tasks to complete, such as cleaning a house, preparing for dinner, or playing the piano. However, this is crucial, both so that the player understands how the gameplay works, as well as getting to know the characters and the lives they live. It takes the game a few hours before you're able to make choices that strongly influence the story.
A lot of the game is spent investigating crime scenes where you have to solve different mysteries, figuring out how to get from one point to another, and pressing different buttons. There was one particular chapter that seemed unnecessary and tedious. It didn't add anything to the game other than frustration, and we could have done without. Otherwise, the gameplay relies heavily on interactions with other characters, which gets us to our next point, the story and its characters.
Detroit centers around 3 main characters: Connor, Kara, and Marcus. All 3 characters are androids, and from the very beginning, it is obvious that androids are considered lesser than humans.
You're sending an android?
All right, ma'am. You need to go.
You can't do that. Why aren't you sending a real person? Joel, that thing!
You're just a goddamn piece of plastic!
You'd rather take care of your plastic toy here than your own son, right?
Although we cannot spoil too much of the story, the fact that androids are not treated fairly becomes a problem, creating deviants who wreak havoc and refuse to submit.
The story is compelling and had us at the edge of our seats more than once. There are a lot of twists and turns, which stop the game from becoming tedious. And the fact that you play 3 different characters with 3 different personalities means that the choices you make affect the game in different ways. This trait meant none of the characters were a chore to play, and we were often left wondering how the other 2 characters were doing whilst we played as the third.
As we've mentioned before, the 3 characters you play are as follows. Kara, an android to a drug-abusive father who feels a special connection to his daughter, which later is the driving force of her character. Connor, a rather special android who is also a detective. His task is to hunt down androids who have become deviant. And the third character that you play is Marcus, an android to a rich artist who treats him well. Without giving too much away, Marcus becomes the character with the most influence towards the future of the androids. It is therefore important to choose wisely when you are given different dialogue options or choices, as this can greatly influence the rest of the game. Which gets us to our third and final point, the choices.
Unlike games like BioShock, The Walking Dead, or A Way Out, where your choices don't have much of an impact on the main story, Detroit gives you a real what-if feeling every time you have to make a decision. While some of the choices, especially those made by Marcus, can seem black and white, it is easy to see the replay value in this game, as there are so many different paths to go down. Even better, it is not always obvious which choice is going to be the most moral, and we often pause the game to give ourselves more time to figure out which option we wanted to pick.
This was especially prominent once we realized that side characters had an opinion about you that could be influenced by what dialogue options you picked. A character who at first disliked you could be coaxed to change their mind. Likewise, a character who looked fondly towards you could disagree with your choices and end up despising your guts.
Sadly, we occasionally found ourselves ready to be given an option screen and then disappointed when there was none. It seemed that some elements of the story were set no matter which path you decided to take.
I could protect you. You and the little one.
All right.
Kara's storyline was probably the dullest of the 3, as she didn't seem to have as many options to pick between. Despite this, the choices made by the other 2 characters, especially Marcus, affected how she was later treated in the game.
After playing through this game a few times and even watching what different stories other players had, it is easy to see that Detroit is a lot bigger than it first seems. A great feature to this game is the chapter summary, where you can see how many different outcomes are available and how many of these you have yourself unlocked. Also, you can replay any of the scenes in a given chapter where you have to make a choice, meaning that if you make a mistake and would like to redo something, you can.
All in all, Detroit Become Human is a fantastic game. It takes a well-used theme, artificial intelligence, and creates an epic storyline with emotional elements strengthened by the beautiful cinematic cutscenes and soundtrack. The character development is smooth and believable, the action scenes intense, and the acting impressive. The developers of this game made sure to give us well-thought-out choices with consequences no matter how small.
You often have to think twice before making a decision, and it's so fulfilling to see the story unfold based on these choices. The graphics in this game are amazing. It is so authentic. However, This game is not perfect. Some of the choices are more or less good or bad. One specific chapter seemed completely unnecessary. Kara doesn't have a big influence on the game in general because she has less choices than the other characters. Sometimes dialogue options are missing in places where they are really needed, and the precedent is just weird. But these are more or less nitpicks in a nearly flawless game.
We strongly recommend Detroit Become Human to everyone who likes games with depth, great character arcs, an original gameplay, and a fulfilling story. If you like games that offer more than just shooting enemies and blowing stuff up, then you should definitely add this game to your collection.
Remember to hit that subscribe button and like us on Facebook to keep yourself up to date on all things nerdy. As soon as we hit 50 subscribers, one of you can be the lucky winner of one of these nerdy giveaways. 100% free! If you're anonymous, just leave a comment down below so we can let you know in case you're the chosen one. The winner can pick between 3 different items. See you later, YouTubers!